Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre. That's
Woo!
right. That's right. The shitlords of cinematic scrutiny. We are here, special occasion today. We're
To watch a special movie.
new series of podcasts here, sort of in the formative stages here.
In the old-fashioned way.
Yes. So we are here today to discuss the new Pee Wee Herman film. What is it fucking called?
Pee Wee's Big Holiday.
Is it Big Holiday?
It's Big Holiday.
It is
yeah.
Big Holiday.
Big Holiday. So all of his movies have had big in the title.
Huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
2016 Netflix original picture.
Okay.
Pee Wee's Big Holiday.
Okay. Pee Wee's PWBH. Excellent. All right.
What an acronym.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, before we start yapping, let's introductions clockwise, starting with me. I'm Ed.
I'm John.
I'm Raul.
All right, so we decided to watch this film because it's relatively brand new.
Yeah, I think it just dropped on the 18th, which was Friday.
Yeah.
So it's pretty new. It's pretty fresh. I couldn't believe it when they said a new Pee Wee Herman movie was coming out.
All right, well, I remember when they announced it. Yeah, Judd, I wasn't sure. I heard it on Stern. I think... Or no, did Pee Wee announce it? I think maybe Pee Wee announced it on his Facebook or his website or something. Because I have a close friend who is a big fan who tips me off to stuff. But
Yeah.
We knew it was coming for a while. The Judd Apatow factory cranking this one out.
It's been 28 years since the last Pee Wee Herman movie.
And
so.
a lot's changed
Yeah.
in that time.
Yes. We've all gotten a little bit older. Maybe a little bit wiser.
We
But
all get older, Colin.
yeah.
So, she want to give a synopsis of this thing?
Yeah, basically, it doesn't tie in with any of the earlier Pee Wee Herman movies. It's a standalone story. So he's Pee Wee Herman. He's living in a small town, and he's never ventured outside of the small town. And so one day, he meets a new friend, actor Joe. What was his last name? again?
Manganiello?
Manganiello. Yeah, the dude from True Blood. Real cool cat blows into town and impresses Pee Wee, and they instantaneously become best buddies. And he inspires Pee Wee to take a road trip to attend his birthday party in 5 days in New York City. So
Which is the party of the century.
that's right, the party of the century.
The place to be.
And so it's a road picture, and Pee Wee hits the road.
You know,
It's a road picture.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
That's one of the things I
Totally
liked about it the most, that it is a road picture.
I probably would have watched the series had it been called True Bud.
That would have been a lot cooler.
True Buddies.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
True.
They're all little...
So are they puppy Draculas?
Yes.
All right.
Vampiric puppy golden
True
retrievers.
Buddies.
Vampuppers.
Wow.
Bam. That's intellectual property of the Cinemarijuana Theatre
Done.
right there. You heard that here first. Yeah, so I guess you want... Let's talk about who wrote and directed this. I know it was written by Paul Rubens, and in case you don't know, Paul Rubens is the real ego,
Right.
not the non-alter ego of Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, screenplay by Paul Rubens and Paul Rust, directed by John Lee, produced by Rubens and Judd Apatow.
Yeah, that's right. Apatow, it wasn't just an EP. He was actually
And
producing
Paul
on
Rust
it.
was also an actor. He was in, what's the Tarantino movie where they fight Nazis?
Inglourious Bastards?
He was in Inglourious Bastards.
Who was he in Inglourious
One
Bastards?
of the one of you
bastards?
guys. One of the bastards.
Would you know which one?
The really Jewish-looking one.
The little man?
I don't remember his name.
The Jew?
He's
the
in a
bear
lot
Jew?
of stuff. No, that's
The one,
Eli Roth.
the wiki, the one who speaks German?
Possibly. It's been a while since I've seen that film.
Hang on, I'll get it.
Okay.
But yeah, he's an actor, comedian.
Has he written other stuff?
I don't know offhand. He wrote the new Netflix series Love, also produced by
Judd
Judd
Apatow,
which was
right.
pretty good.
They worked together a lot. I guess that's kind of how it broke when Paul Rubens said that he was working with Rust.
Everybody knew Apatow was
Would be
behind
involved,
it.
right, because
Okay.
they work hand in hand.
Rust is also in the film.
Okay.
He was the one guy in the diner who's like, "Your whatever drives me crazy." He's like, "That's not too far."
Oh, yeah, he was okay. So he was Ernie.
Oh, okay.
That was
Yeah.
that character. And then, he's been in Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
A lot of stuff.
If he's a
Bang
comic,
Bangs.
yeah. if he's
Comedy
a-
Bang Bang.
He's pretty great.
I'm trying to
That's
see.
interesting
fan.
because the Bear Jew was also supposed to be played by Adam Sandler, another comic. And Mike Myers, a comedian, was in Inglourious Bastards as well. That's kind of interesting that he would have so many sort of comedians in that film. Well, we're not here to talk about that, though.
Good resume though.
Yeah, absolutely. And this did not, once again, this is now our second official non-theatrically released film.
That's true. Yeah, this is Netflix
Because
original,
this,
so
this,
not.
This was not in a. Especially, I imagine, is they don't plan to submit it for Oscar consideration. It is not, as far as I know, it is not screened in a theater.
It did play at South by Southwest
Theatrically.
Well, I assume
Like
South
it
by
wasn't
Southwest.
somebody's house.
No, in the festival. So in a theater.
Okay.
At someone's house by South by Southwest.
I've aspired to go to South by Southwest for quite some time, but never have actually been able to accomplish it, sadly. So I don't know how it works.
I think it's just a bunch of stuff from what it sounds like, and just
Well, it's
go there.
yeah, it's a bunch of, but like there's so many clubs and stuff. Like
Well,
I don't know.
So I was hearing somebody talk about it. He was saying there's even like cars that drive by with
Yeah.
bands on them and shit.
Well,
and, like,
I know.
little anywhere, just besides the
Yeah,
street.
yeah. I know. Local one of our local favorites, the Touchies, played the Peelander Z stage this year, and they had some pictures up on their Facebook, and they. Yeah, like dudes playing on like a boat or something. I don't know. It just seems like there's like you can't throw a rock without hitting like a band.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Through South, because even if you don't get booked officially with the festival, I'm sure you go down to try to busk or whatever. But okay, well, anything else we should know about this film, where it was shot, or anything like that?
No, I mean, there's not a lot of facts out. I think this is pretty new, so I think we'll get into this a little more on Dank Nugs.
Well, then let's just do 3 minutes, 3 words. Yeah,
Sure.
start. Let's get into it. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll start.
Okay,
Let me
sure.
jump for the chance.
Yeah, sure. You go.
Okay.
You go right
Yeah,
ahead.
Let me start the timer here. Yeah. Well, like I said, it was a trip out to hear there was a new Pee Wee Herman movie coming after damn near 30 years. But I was excited because, okay, I mean, growing up as a kid in the 80s, I mean, Pee Wee Herman was the shit. Like just hands down the shit. Pee Wee's Big Adventure, like, that was like if you were having a slumber party for like a birthday or something and you wanted to bring out the movie that, like, every kid would be fucking totally fascinated with and totally enjoy. It was Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And Pee Wee's Playhouse was just a thing of legends that people still speak about in hushed tones today.
That was one of our Saturday morning favorites.
Yeah, it really was. That was on. Like I still remember now being situations as a kid being pissed because I was someplace that my parents would drag me to and I was missing Pee Wee's Playhouse. like damn open house and Pee Wee's Playhouse is on. But yeah, and then so it's been a long time, and so it was great to see him come back. It's a little weird at first. I guess Raul was saying I guess they did like digital makeup to sort of cover up Pee Wee's wrinkles, and you sort of can tell something's off at the beginning a little bit, but fortunately they don't
You get used to it.
You get used to it, and
Yeah.
there's not too many close-ups I find after when they get kind of more into the action. But it's fun though. It's a fun movie. Like it is a road movie, and it's interesting the people he runs into, the sort of the choice they make. If it does really feel like it fits in the Pee Wee verse. Not as much as the other ones. I mean, you definitely do feel that it's not quite. You just wish seeing this. Oh man, if only they could have made another one closer. But then Big Top Pee Wee wasn't that good. I mean, honestly, like I was never a big fan of Big Top Pee Wee.
A little boring.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen Big Adventure more times than I could ever hope to remember. I think I've seen Big Top like twice.
Yeah.
It's just not that good. I mean, if you're a Pee Wee Herman fan, I mean.
It's for the completist only.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, and I would definitely say I like this one more than Big Top Pee Wee because it is more fun, and it feels more. And I'm glad that it wasn't derivative. I was really afraid, and obviously, some stuff is a little bit because they obviously want to tug on those heartstrings, get the nostalgia vibe from the fans. But I was afraid it was going to just be like a remake of Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah. I was totally
right.
I
I would have bet money on that, and it really wasn't. It tells its own story. It's different. It's fun.
Kind of when it starts out a little bit, you really like it. Kind of hits a couple of notes where they almost are like maybe deliberately trying to make you think that.
Right, and you start getting worried. And when he's in the town at first, I was a little bit like, I don't know. I hope this is picking up. But once he leaves town, it picks up.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Pee Wee Herman fan, you are, and then I mean, there's no reason to not watch this. So my 3 words are Pee Wee's back.
All right.
Is Pee Wee one word or two?
I think it's 2.
Hyphen?
If it's hyphenated, it's 1.
Then there'd be Pee Wee is back. I wouldn't. Then there would be no contraction.
Well played.
Has it ever been? Ooh, has it been consistently stylized?
It looks like it's consistently
no hyphen.
No hyphen. It looks like. Oh no, I'm sorry. The opposite. Hyphen. P-Wee is apparently the official. So it'd be 1 word. So Pee Wee is back.
Okay.
3 words.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
All right, Raul, your turn.
I was super worried hearing that a new Pee Wee movie was coming
Of course.
out. I saw Pee Wee Herman and not Paul Rubens made an appearance on Comedy Bang Bang a few years ago on the TV show, and it was very worrisome because his voice was not back.
Yeah.
So it was kind of gravelly, and he was still doing that kid laugh and stuff. So I was just like, I can't do a movie of that. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey guys."
It's like chain smoking Pee Wee.
Yeah, it was rough, and it was scary.
It's crazy how the voice ages.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that'd be the case, but it totally is.
Well,
and
because
that's-
Bobcat Goldthwait dropped that whole where he used to do that whole
high pitched thing.
Yeah.
and like because that's rough
Yeah.
to do.
But I'm kind of surprised. I guess he must have done a bunch of vocal training and stuff for this because he sounded, for the most part, like 98% of the time, super on point.
He was close.
He was great.
He was definitely right in there.
And I didn't love this one, but it made me interested for what they could do in the future. And I love the pick of Joe Manganiello because he was someone who I never heard of, but they kept referencing him like I should have known him. So the fact that I maybe should have but didn't made me love him and their weird bromance even more.
Yeah.
That's where the movie started for me, was when he gets into that ice cream shop and they start broing down all hard and sweaty,
Yeah.
you know.
That's when it picks up.
That's when I got in, and I was like, "This is ridiculous." And all the slow-mo scenes of the fantasies at the birthday party were fucking rad, and that was easily my favorite part. I was hoping for more celebrity cameos, though, like that bear guy. I thought would have been great for like Horatio Sands to see him in that role.
That
and
would have
like
been cool, especially because
little bit more.
there's some D-listers out there,
Yeah.
some faces you would recognize. I'm sure they could have got for this.
Yeah, and I definitely missed that darker tone that unfortunately Tim Burton set quite a precedent with.
It's
So
funny.
I missed that too.
You feel it's like as if Burton had somehow just tied. hand
Well,
in hand with Pee Wee.
it's
think-
so bizarre.
I think it's important to mention at this point Phil Hartman, who was like his writing partner
Yeah.
and co-wrote Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, good point.
With him, and I think like we all know that Tim Burton obviously has a dark sensibilities, but I think that Phil Hartman had a real hand in the sensibilities of that film and
Never
just
thought about
the
that.
kind of bizarre comedy.
And then that's the little bit that's missing from this.
So
Yeah.
that Hartman's
that
no
scene
Hartman to it.
in the well where he's tripping balls, I felt was an attempt to kind of get some of that darkness, maybe something similar to Large Marge, but not quite.
Yeah.
Which scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I saw that in the
It did
theater.
everybody.
And seeing Large Marge like 20 feet tall is the worst thing that can happen to you as a kid.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah. But 3 words, more Pee Wee now.
Okay. All right. Well, so yeah, Pee Wee is somebody that obviously grew up with. A few years back, he did a live stage show, basically of the Playhouse. And it was the first time he had, as far as I know, that Paul Rubens had brought the Pee Wee character out. In Christ knows how long.
Yeah, like in ages.
And my pal on the East Coast, she was like, "Oh my God, Pee Wee! Like we're coming out to the West Coast for this." She snatched up tickets and bought us tickets in advance. Was like, "Dude, you can just pay me? Like, fuck it, we have to go." So anyways, there was a whole thing where he sort of moved he had to change the venue, and then that changed the dates, and then they couldn't come, so we ended up having to go anyways. But the point is, like, seeing when the curtain opens and seeing like the Playhouse like come to life in front of my eyes was surprisingly powerful. It was this bizarre, instant, like weird kind of wormhole bridge to my past that like I sort of seemed to step into briefly at that time, where like I was like, holy shit, because I also really haven't watched Pee Wee's Playhouse since then, anyways. And it was a real reminder like of how sort of how much I enjoyed this character, how significant this character in this whole world was to me.
And the connection too, how you spend, like you said, it's a regular Saturday morning thing. I mean, especially them being live action, not a cartoon. I mean,
you
feel like you know him.
That's it. You feel like everybody at the Playhouse is your pal too,
Right?
Because
like,
they talk to you the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
You're there.
Exactly.
Right.
The camera is you.
Yeah.
Basically in that show. So of course, hearing that there's going to be a new Pee Wee is like, okay, holy shit, like that's rad. I can't wait. Now I'm not the biggest Judd Apatow mark by any means. He's kind of really hit and miss for me with his shit. So that didn't really sway me one way or the other. So this film, I was afraid it was going to be a tremendous letdown, as I am with any of these fucking properties they're dragging out. And it doesn't have anything to do with any sort of like gender bend or any sort of like, racial change, whether they make so-and-so black or if they make some so-and-so woman. Like, I don't give a shit about that. But when they drag these old properties up and they want to redo them, it's like, I'm just afraid they're going to suck just in general, not having to do with any of that specific shit.
Well, it's because usually they're done for profit, and that's the wrong reason to do something like that.
That's it.
And that's where they fail, because they're not trying to make a good movie or a good story. It's like, well, if we make a new movie, we can sell more toys and we'll sell more T-shirts.
Let's just call this Terminator 5.
So now, obviously, this is the first time I've watched this, so I need to obviously step back and watch it again. But for me, this was definitely better than Big Top Pee Wee. Pee Wee's Big Adventure is really kind of a masterpiece in a way. I don't mean to throw that term around too lightly, but it is just truly just an amazing, unique film and tremendously funny. So you really can't. You will never top it. You can't make anything like it ever again. It's like the fucking Mona Lisa or
the
Scream.
talent of Rubens and Hartman, and then coming in with Tim Burton, Danny Elfman doing the music. It just
I mean, and even a lot of the supporting players. You know what I mean? What's his name? Mark Holton, the guy that played Buxton, and
just the look and the feel of the movie is just
everything about it.
So unique.
The angles, the cinematography,
nightmarish dream sequences that are so perfect.
Everything fires perfectly, and so. But this, I'm being long-winded, so I want to try to wrap this up quickly. I just want to say what I loved about it is it totally reminded me of like the World's Fastest Indian, in that not only is it a road movie, but Pee Wee plays one of these characters that everybody loves because he's genuinely a lovable character. And even if he's eccentric or different or out there, like, you love him because, like, that if you hung out with Pee Wee Herman, like, he would, like, love you and accept you. And that's kind of like the message, like, underneath the whole thing really is, like, he's living in this fucking utopia where he's this kind of awkward, weird outcast kind of thing, but he totally rules the world. I don't know. And I just love that. I love that how he meets all these colorful characters and has these different fun and little adventures with him in these relationships. But by the time you get to the end, like, everybody's best friends with Pee Wee.
Yeah, because he never gives up and he perseveres, and he's got such a big heart, and he's so genuinely nice with everybody that, like, how can anybody not help but, like,
and that is the heart. That is the heart that the first one had, that this managed to have as well.
That I think Big Top didn't have.
So in the end, it was successful, and I feel it was worthwhile and fun and awesome. So, my 3 words are good fucking job.
Yeah. Well put.
I was kind of surprised that all the people he met kind of didn't intersect at the end. Usually in pictures like this, I always feel like that's kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
like at the end of Big Adventure, they're all at the drive-in.
They almost could have had someone like they all showed up at the party.
Yeah.
But then it sort of the story kind of went past that,
Yeah.
Well, but also, too, maybe they because the couple things that happened at the beginning, like, there's sort of a Breakfast Machine 2.0 sequence to begin. Okay, first of all, there's a fantastical dream sequence to open the film, to which Pee Wee awakens, out of which Pee Wee awakens, and goes
the
through
Rube
this ridiculous
Goldberg device.
Breakfast Machine device for him to eat, and then so that whole bit, and then when that little blonde wants to fucking choke on his bone.
Yeah, outside the library at the beginning.
I'm like Dottie Deuce.
Yeah. Emerald Sharks, dude.
I'm like, and I'm ready for it. But then Joe Manganiello shows up, and all of a sudden now, like, those sort of parallels for me, other than both of them kind of being road films, then the parallels kind of aren't as obvious anymore, and it really kind of starts to do its own thing.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's almost symbolic how just as he comes in and shakes Pee Wee out of this rut, he also shakes the story out of the rut.
Well, even
Yeah.
the whole film, he's been in a rut for 28 years, right?
Right.
As far as the Pee Wee character.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's even more symbolic than that.
He's
Right.
it's like a comment. It's really kind of autobiographical in a way.
Loosely, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, he's been sort of trapped in this place. And think about it. What is it? Pleasantville or what?
Plainville,
Plainville,
right?
right? Fairville, right? It's like, I don't know. It's sort of like that's the town of, like, memory, where, like, you only remember the good stuff and everything is, like, picture perfect.
Yeah, because it's trapped in the past. They don't have solar calculators.
right,
they don't have
right.
pizza, and garnish is completely a foreign concept.
Like, what?
So they're
To
totally
like a
trapped
child.
in the past.
Oh man,
Kinda,
interesting.
So, but I think perhaps by the time we get to the end, maybe they felt that would be, like, too.
Maybe not. Yeah, they wouldn't want to come
close.
back to some too referential
To
at
like
the
maybe
end.
to the end sequence.
Maybe because they do a good job of breaking out of the mold, doing their own thing.
Another thing that was really good about this film, I thought, the cinematography and the production design was really nice. I really liked the colors that were used in this film, and some of the now. It kind of sucks because you kind of, in a way, almost can't avoid comparing it to Big Adventure.
Kind of have to. I mean, it's all his character
Is
in a
that
way.
fair,
It's
though?
In some ways, yeah, I think that's his most seminal work.
I think you got to do both. I think you got to judge it on its own merit, and as well as against all the other films, as you would with anything else, right?
Well, because, like, I can't put my finger on what it was about Big Adventure. The look of the film, just the way the shots looked, the way they were framed, the lenses they were used. It just seemed so deliberate and precise, and it gave the film such a unique look that was really kind of missing from this film.
Yeah.
And not to say that the look of this film was bad, because, I mean, obviously I was just praising it, because I think it does have its good kind of, its own really good, unique look. But the whole time I am sort of holding it up to that standard of, like,
Well, and I think, I mean, you've
what
got
Big Adventure brought.
I feel like with Big Adventure, I mean, you've got Burton at his best.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you can necessarily
He hit the
expect
ground running with that. So good.
right. I don't know if you can expect anybody to live up to that level when it comes to just the sheer quality of design you would see in a film. Just the whole the cinematography and that kind of unique where he just like sculpts this whole kind of new world.
Like for example, Andy in like, okay, the guy is obviously huge, even in comparison to Paul Rubens, but I just the way he shot it, he just is able to make Andy look so enormous compared to Pee Wee.
Well, both films are very different tonally too. Like, this is much more of a straight comedy and road picture, like you guys said, where Big Adventure is kind of more of a sinister tale.
Yeah, there's more fantasy to Big Adventure too, whereas
way more.
This is much more sort of just like a literal story.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I like too. I just want to point out the three women that he runs afoul of, the crime spree girls.
Swamp Diamonds girls.
Yeah, I thought that was great that they were like kind of mingers a little bit, you know,
Slags.
Yeah, kind of slags.
No,
and
that
like,
was rad.
Is there an allegory or something with that? Because okay, so it kind of felt a little "Oh brother, where art thou?" Because there was like that story where you have these three bandits, and then you have that farmer's daughter tale, which is like a urban legend or myth or folklore. What is that? It's like a folktale?
It's usually the subject of jokes.
It's a joke,
right? Okay,
it's basically
okay.
a joke thing.
You know, the guy, the
Yes.
traveling salesman gets stuck at the farmer's house for the night.
Right, and it really goes through a few tropes because I mean he gets picked up by a traveling salesman.
Right.
I guess it's the farmer's daughter.
The farmer's
trope,
daughter
basically.
trope. Then I mean you've got like you point at Swamp Diamonds, or they're actually I guess the women are specifically based on the ones in Faster
Pussycat, Kill.
So you've got these women in prison or women on the run from prison movies. That's another trope.
Yeah, the biker chicks.
Yeah, the biker chicks. So I mean, there's a lot of different themes they play with that are fun and are very. I think it's kind of cool, like sort of like acknowledging a lot of different points in cinema and American history.
Yeah, you know, one thing I think about this film too is that it like like Big Adventure, I think it would be successful with both adult and child audiences. I could see kids. I don't know, and maybe I'm out of touch, but I could see kids. This being something the kid would watch over and over and over again, the way I did with Big Adventure. Because it's totally fun, it's totally colorful, it's irreverent and like funny and
it's silly, and I would think that the Pee Wee character would still resonate with kids.
Yeah,
I would think that would still work on some level if they can put the iPhones down.
Well, especially today when the whole neurodivergence thing is like the thing.
But the whole thing with like it appealing to grown-ups, it kind of has to, since grown-ups now were the ones that grew up with Pee Wee.
Well,
so
yeah,
I think in a way, like absolutely,
and they're the ones who are footing the bill and controlling the remote. So
but I don't know if you could find like a test audience of people that really were oblivious to the whole Pee Wee thing somehow, that were all adults. I don't know. I think you wouldn't have a lot of people complaining about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good family picture.
It is. Yeah, it's not dumb. It's not offensive. I was glad they never delved into toilet humor or anything.
No, and some of the jokes are actually really pretty witty. I found myself chuckling quite a bit at some of the stuff.
Yeah, there's a few things I really laughed out loud at because they were actually really funny and really well thought out.
Yeah, you know what I liked? One of the scenes I liked in particular was that Simone in the flying car.
Yes, yeah, that was Simone.
I thought that's why she says "Au revoir, Pee Wee" at the end. But it wasn't Simone. That was
She's
another
playing a different character.
But
the Simone and the woman who was Miss Yvonne and the guy
Snake
who was
lady.
Jambi.
Yeah, John Paragon was
all made cameos.
Yeah.
Wait, so who is Jambi in this?
It said cameraman. I didn't see him. I didn't notice him.
That's so minor.
It was on the credits. The cast were listed in order of appearance, and he was second to last.
So he was probably one of the newscaster cameramen.
I would
cameraman
imagine
that was there for the well thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure he was at the well scene.
Yeah, I was expecting a whole Buffalo Bill bit with the well, and I was kind of surprised it didn't happen.
Yeah,
you got a good well, you'd think you'd use it like that.
Right? Who knows? But I thought that scene was really kind of fun. I don't know. It just seems so different than anything we'd really kind of seen. More sort of fantastical than anything we'd really kind of seen. The fact that like he gets into like this cool looking car and they fly away.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. I thought that was really fun.
The way he just runs into this random character and she's got like this sort of like this
1 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost like something out of a dream for me because it's like so impossible, but would be so rad.
And it's funny the way it's just sort of accepted, like, oh, flying car, like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't have recurring dreams, but I have like recurring themes, and like sort of travel is a recurring theme for me in dreams. I have no idea why, but so like that kind of like that seems like something that would happen to me in a dream, like. You'd roll up and would be like, "Oh, you bought that flying car?"
Yeah, like go ahead.
Yep, like let's go to Amsterdam, right? It's kind of like how with a lot of Three Stooges, I feel like this weird connection to like sort of their situations and the way my dreams work, kind of in the way that just the weird way they find themselves in and out of these bizarre situations.
Right, like how if you step out of the room and come back, like they're janitors, and you step out of the room and come back 2 minutes later, and all of a sudden they're like they're in England.
Yeah, right.
And they're like hunting ducks or something. And it's like, how the hell did that happen?
So it was kind of compelling in a weird way, but then fun and good to see. Them together again.
Yeah, it was neat. Well. It was a fun cameo. It was a fun little scene. It's almost like a dream because the way the car like breaks down and then like it's like, oh fuck it, and she's got her wingsuit and she's out.
Just out. Yeah.
He did get that sweet umbrella.
He did, which really didn't do much for him, but
it helped break his fall a little bit.
A little bit,
as umbrellas are wont to do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good ones, anyways. Yeah. Well, shit. What else? How much time we got left?
Let me see. We've got 42 seconds.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, really quick, just something a little interesting here for people. Here's a couple, some earlier script ideas they had that they didn't end up going with. Because Pee Wee's been working on a new idea for a movie for a while.
Yeah, it has been a while since I heard about this, I think.
So, according to Wikipedia, Rubens at one point was working with a script called The Pee Wee Herman Story, which he describes as a black comedy. He's also referred to it as Dark Pee Wee or Adult Pee Wee. The plot would involve Pee Wee becoming famous as a singer after making a hit single moving to Hollywood, where, quote, he does everything wrong and becomes a big jerk. Rubens further explained the film has many Valley of the Dolls moments, and that he thought that was going to be the first one they started production on, but later on, then he had another one which was called Pee Wee's
So are they making that?
No. This was back in 2002.
Okay.
Like he's been trying to basically make a movie for quite a while.
Right.
So that one was in 2006 or 2007. They were supposed to start filming it, but it didn't happen. And then later, around 2008, 2009, he had a script called. It was a family-friendly adventure called Pee Wee's Playhouse: The Movie. Follows Pee Wee and his Playhouse friends on a road trip adventure, meaning they would leave the house for the first time and go out into Puppet Land.
Wow.
All of the original characters from the show, live action and puppets, were included in Rubens' script. The story happens in a fantasy land that would be reminiscent of H.R. Pufnstuf and the Wonderful World of Oz.
Why,
There's a lot they can do with that character.
Why are they not making these fucking movies?
Well, maybe now's the time.
No joke. He also said in 2009 that there was a rejected first draft of Pee Wee's Big Adventure that they thought they might use, but then they also did not end up using that.
Wasn't he trying to work with somebody? He pitched it to like Johnny Depp to play him in a movie.
He tried to get then a little bit they were thinking about first off they were thinking about using using CGI to update the puppets' looks and do something along the lines of the Polar Express, which would use performance capture technology, incorporating the movements of live action animated
Is that
characters.
what they did with that Jim Carrey Christmas Carol one?
Yep.
That was the same thing with that, yeah.
Okay.
Then
and
he
Beowulf,
also
right?
Yeah, Beowulf too, yeah. And then he also approached Tim Burton on one of the scripts and talked to Johnny Depp about the possibility of having him portray Pee Wee.
That would have been so
But they
weird.
both declined. Yeah, that would have been
Especially
really weird.
without a stupid hat.
But they both declined, and then in 2010, that is when word started breaking that he was working with Judd Apatow.
But then
on
now
when
6
it
years
came in.
later it took for
It
that
still
to
took a long
happen.
time to
That's
make
crazy.
it. He kind of basically said it's like they would work, and then things would kind of get in the way, and then a couple years go by, and they start on it again. A couple years go by.
Well, okay, so I don't know, because Netflix is weird. They don't don't do conventional ratings, I would imagine. Nor
They
can
have
they
views.
Okay, so
Can I make a confession about that actually? Like
Yeah.
a really dark confession I've been meaning to talk about.
shit.
Can't wait.
So Adam Sandler got that 3-picture deal, right?
Right.
Ridiculous
Yeah.
6, or he got like a 5-picture something.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
it was
Ridiculous 6
quite a
comes
few.
out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is going to be bad. So I watch it, right? And I think this is not just so bad, but he's going to get like money per view. So what do? I keep putting on Ridiculous 6. So it just adds up his tally so he'll get more movies in the future.
Why would you want to do that to the rest of us?
Some men just want to see the world burn, John. Some men just want to watch it all come down.
Yeah. Yeah. No shit. So how do they judge the success of this? And does this mean we're going to get more fucking Pee Wee?
I think
what?
it's just views. I think it's just watches.
I think it's views. Well, and the hope would be like something like for HBO for Game of Thrones. The idea is that people who right now who don't have Netflix would sign up for Netflix for the opportunity to see this. And so obviously it's a big enough deal. Like ironically enough, okay, you and I hadn't seen this movie, but it turns out that pretty much everybody else we knew had watched it this first weekend.
Yeah.
This was my second time or second and a half
Right.
time.
Chris had watched it. Dr. Matlis had watched it. So it's a big enough a deal that there's people out there who would probably be willing to sign up for Netflix just for the chance to watch it.
Yeah.
And I
can
think they've
see
said
that.
their biggest premiere or biggest anything so far has been Daredevil. They said that's gotten their most views, so that's considered their most popular property.
Yeah, I could see that definitely.
Okay. Well, I hope that this would lead to, if he's got so many rad ideas.
I don't see
If people want Pee Wee,
it's a timeless character. It's the kind of character you can take out and drop in any situation, and it would be you could make an interesting story.
as long as the writing is.
well,
good.
yeah, of course. I mean, you can't churn out crap. I'm just saying that the character of Pee Wee Herman works well enough.
You love him. You want to see
right?
him.
Exactly. That as long as they can come up with a halfway different, decent story, they could do a couple more of these.
But you also have the fact that Paul Rubens is like 65. So one of the techniques they used in this movie I was talking about earlier was the digital makeup.
Yeah. Right.
So the lighting had to be super precise,
Right.
and apparently that took a lot of time. And then in post, they went through pretty much every frame to touch up any of the makeup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
how about they just get over it? How about people really age and fucking who cares?
So
So he's got progeria.
I think I want him to have like a son in the next one, and then he like gets hit by a car and he hands his son his bow tie, and he's like, "Now
But
you
who's
shall be
gonna
Pee
play
Wee."
the son?
Yeah, but
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, right.
Get out of here with that.
They should do. I thought they should do something where there's like an evil twin, right? Of
That'd be
Pee-wee.
rad.
And that way, give Rubens a chance to play like a different character
Yeah.
who's totally like non-Pee-wee,
That'd be cool.
That would be rad.
right? Like
Because they hint at it in this film.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's got like an evil brother or something, or just or like the cliche where they got somebody who's an exact duplicate of him. They just happen to run into,
right.
But they trade lives or some shit.
I mean, but even if that lighting shit is the case, okay, so you're putting people to work. Get about it, dude. If he's got rad ideas,
If it turns whatever Netflix deems to be a profit,
Yeah.
because like you said, there's not going to be any box office from this. And I do wonder if at some point they might release this on DVD or Blu-ray once they've got their money's worth
think
out
they
of
would.
because why not?
Netflix originals are coming out.
Yeah. So I would
I
think
would hope
if whatever they count as being a profit, this achieves that. Hopefully, then we'll get something else, and hopefully in less time than 28 years.
Follow-up question: do you think the next film will be set in this new Plainview or Plainsburg? What is it? Plainston?
I almost
Whatever.
have the feeling
Fairville?
it's
Yeah, you think it'd be
Fairville.
Fairville canon, or you think it'd be old, or just be something completely new
Looking
again?
at how they've done it technically, because even with they don't really because a different studio did Big Top than Big
Yeah.
Adventure, so they couldn't bring anything over from the first movie to the second movie. Now
Other
this
than him.
established and this
And Danny
established a
Elfman.
totally different kind of universe too. So I would get the feeling that they might do a whole new thing, and it's almost like every Pee Wee story will sort of just almost be like a reboot.
Could be cool.
See us take it someplace that's totally different.
I kind of want more Joe Manganiello.
Well, it'd be cool to see what those characters end up doing.
Yeah.
How that went,
Yeah.
Because the whole next one could be like a complete buddy picture.
That'd be great.
no, I think it was a good idea too to use like somebody that wasn't super A-list.
Oh, it was perfect. It was so perfect.
But a guy who was actually got some fame.
He was great in it too. He was legitimately funny.
Yeah,
in
he
it.
was funny, and he also you buy him as being like the nice guy, and of course it plays against type a little bit because
Right.
Yeah,
he's
he
this
is
big
believable.
fancy
They look like they'd never hang out with
right,
each
exactly. And so
Yeah.
to see them be like such buddies and like have all this like loving root beer barrels and stuff like
Yeah.
that, it's a lot of fun. It's endearing.
other. Yeah, total bromance.
Yeah, it's a complete bromance. This
Yeah,
would
you really do. You really do. He is kind of sweet. You really
Yeah.
do feel like he and Pee Wee are actually BFFs.
the movie's got heart, and I think that's one of the reasons why it works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think so. Well, good job.
Yeah.
Good job to them because like
Right, yeah, they
fucking
fucking-
A, man. I mean, like looking at the Ghostbusters trailer, I mean, we're all taking a shit on that. I mean, we're all going to see it.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
and hopefully,
it
I'm
just-
hoping for the best.
Yeah,
me
we'll give it
too.
a chance.
Me
Cautiously
too.
optimistic.
Yeah, I'm super open-minded about it. I want it to be hilarious. Kristen Wiig is like one of the funniest chicks that she was the best thing on Saturday Night Live.
It's got
when she
there's a
was
lot
on.
of talent in that roster. I mean, I think they're all very funny women.
but the trailer isn't.
Is the trailer's not selling me? We'll see, but it's tough. I mean, like the whole Star Wars thing that just came back too, and I mean, for everything that it kind of did right, there's a lot of stuff it did wrong, and it's cool to see something come back and do something original.
Yeah.
And not just rehash itself when it's basically it has to sell itself on its nostalgia factor on some level, because you got to remember who the fuck this guy is to care.
Yeah.
They didn't do a lot of callbacks either.
No, they didn't. Not too many.
You would totally expect that in a picture like this.
Right, and not too many. A couple like au revoir Pee Wee. Like that's such a
I
little
know you are,
tiny
but what
thing.
am I?
Right, there's some little ones.
Why don't
but
you marry it?
for the most part,
Yeah.
right?
But they don't beat
do
you over the head.
Yeah,
with
that
it.
was great.
Yeah, it's smart. It's clever.
It found that right balance.
right, just the
between-
right amount.
between the two. So yeah, Pee Wee's big
Holiday. Gets the thumbs up.
is it's a winner.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good times. So
Do you guys do thumbs up, or do you like the cush of approval, or like a
We have-
what's
well,
the stamp?
We were doing like just numbers before, right? But then
Yeah.
everybody kept giving everything the same score, so that's why we kind of stopped doing it.
But if everyone unanimously goes like that's dope, then does it get like a?
It should get something.
it's
Yeah.
Maybe like-
greens of
smoked out. or
Yeah, the
something,
fucking
like-
the OG Kush of approval.
yeah, the fucking.
It's certified dank nug.
What's the one?
certified.
certified dank. What's the one? There's something like Thunderfuck or something like that.
Jesus,
there's
what?
There's some like super elusive strain called like something Thunderfuck or something. It's like trying to find the Yeti in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
So it's like Pineapple Express or something.
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
legendary
We
one.
should, I don't know.
We'll think of something. But whatever it's
Certified
called, this
dank.
movie gets it.
Yeah, it gets that.
Gets that.
the Sick AF Award.
Yes,
the
this
Sick
movie is-
AF certification of dankness.
Certified sick AF. Double dank.
Well, yeah.
Power dabs.
Yeah, this gets 3 cans of Four Loko. For
3
sure.
Leafs, way green.
For sure. Okay, so for the Cinemarijuana Theatre, I'm Ed,
I'm John.
I'm Raul.
and we'll be back sometime soon with more rad stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you at the movies.
Yeah, well, no, not really.
No,
You'll
no.
hear us after the movies.
At the greenery.
Bye.